Well, let us start our work, start our class on power plant engineering. We are talking about the different type of boilers, their use, their accessories, etc. Let us share the heat absorption in water tube boilers like this. We have undergo there are two different types of power boilers we have classified. That is, uh, one is water tube turbines, water tube boilers, and another is flame tube boilers. There is a very simple difference between the two. Boilers, the heat it carrying from the flue gases to the water for vaporizing it into the vapor itself. And how will you supply the heat? Sometimes it happens the flue gases going through the tubes, and it is tube is being surrounded by the water. This is called gas tube boilers. And another thing is that water is goes through the tube and flue gases is surrounding it and thus transferring heat to the water itself. Generally, we broadly classify these water tube boilers into two different types. One is straight tube boilers, another is uh, bent tube boilers, where the straight tube, all the boilers are straight, all the tubes, generally 20 to 25 in numbers, are straight, and they are being housed by means of a header and footer in both the sides, so that the water being transported the high from a height from the header itself, it is going through the water and collected, and again goes back to the header itself. And for bent tube boilers, does not require any header. It is already bent and moves from one end to another, which carries the water and surrounding which the flue gas is surrounded, and it applies the heat to the to the water itself. Now, let us go through the heat absorption system in the water tube boiler itself. In a water tube boilers, feed water is generally heated in three defined kind of heat exchangers. You know what is heat exchangers? Heat exchangers are which is a different method of transferring heat to the flowing water from the surroundings. And there are different type of heat exchangers that has different names, such as economizer and evaporator, which downcomer, riser, circuit. There are, I just have told you, there is riser and downcomer or header or footer. Downcomer means the riser is through which the water goes up and goes through the different tubes, and then from the tube it goes to the ground comer and then come back again and follows the same circuit, so that the water is always flowing from higher to lower, because uh, ground cover is placed in a lower system, and it is all the tubes are placed in an angle placed by an angle with the horizontal, so that by this gravity the water is coming down from the riser itself and goes to the downcomer itself. And water is first filled up with riser, so that it goes through all the tubes and collected in the downcomer, then again feed back to the riser itself. This flow is more operating mostly by the gravitational force. And the superheater is there. There's another thing which is called superheater, where the steam thus formed is being heated to a temperature around 600, 500 to 700 degrees centigrade, which is much higher than the boiling temperature, thus superheating the whole vapor system like this. Now, feed water from the high pressure heaters enters the economizer itself, where first the economizer heater from the high pressure heaters means when the filter is received from high pressure heater, it goes into the economizer itself, but it is heated by the idling flue gases. It is thus saturated until it is saturated liquid at that pressure, and then it is fed to the drum itself. Well, from the in the economizer, what is being heated by the also heated by the flue gases, which is being heated by the boiler drum. Same flue gases are used to heat up the liquid water, and liquid water is not boiled here, but saturated fully with water vapor and steam, and it is fully saturated with steam, and the saturated liquid at that pressure is saturated, and then it is fed to the drum itself. The saturated water then falls through the downcomer to the bottom header and moves up through the riser, where the water is partially boiled back to the drum, and saturated steam from the drum goes to the supervisor itself for being heated to the desired temperature itself. So there is a one flow. Water falls through the downcomer into the bottom heater, then moves up through the geyser, whose boiler water is where in the right hand is partially boiled, and back to the drum itself. Then saturated steam from the drum goes to the superheater being heated to the desired supervised temperature. And if the pressure drops during the entire heating process and any external heat, the loss are thus neglected. The line 1/4 in the next page I will show you represents the heating process in TS diagram. Just 1 second. For each kg of steam formed, the heats absorbed the each kg of steam was formed, the heat absorbed in the economizer in the required liquid phase in the vapor and in the evaporator liquid to vapor transmission phase or latent heat of vaporization, and in the superheater the vapor gas phase are given by the following equation. You see, steam, how the steam is formed. Heat is formed in the first heat is absorbed in the water by this in this economizer. By economizer it is heated by the flue gases, by portion of the flue gases itself, and it is heated into the required liquid phase. Then goes to the vapor evaporator, where liquid to vapor transmission takes place, means water boiled to the liquid to transmission in 100 degrees centigrade or so according to the pressure itself, or latent heat of evaporation is being absorbed there to convert the total water into heat. Then it's sent to the supervisor itself, where the vapor or gas phases are given by where the is uh, vapor is further heated there. So it is given by Q economizer H2 minus H1, Q evaporator H3 minus H4, Q evaporator uh, H3 minus H2, not 9, H3 minus H2, and Q superheater H4 minus H3. So there are three phases of liquid heat addition, or three phases of entropy changes. Enthalpy changes is first, it is heat is added H2 to H1, that is the heat economizer usual itself, heat added. The evaporator H3 to H4, H2, where it is being heated and boiled to the steam. Then from superheater, where H3, H4 minus H3, where it is totally superheated to temperature around 500 to 700 degrees centigrade. The percentage of total heat absorbed in the economizer, thus economizer, evaporator, and superheaters are like this. Q economizer divided by total heat in economizer plus evaporator and superheater. So what is the percentage of heat absorbed is given by the ratio amount of the evaporator itself and equal to the total heat absorbed there multiplied by 100, or H2 minus H1 is equal to H4 minus H1 itself. This is the percentage of heat absorbed in the economizer itself. Stop share. I'm going to the 12. Here, what is shown here, the process in a schematic diagram of heat evaporation of the method of heat evaporation in a water tube boiler. What is going on here? First, the boiler is coming from high pressure, the water is coming from high pressure heater and high pressure type turbine itself. It goes into the economizer. Then from the outlet of the economizer, it goes to the outlet of the economizer, it goes to the drum itself. From the there is another source of heat, the drum from the downcomer comes down and again feed it to the drum itself. Next, another portion of the heat is being from the turbine is comes to the reheater itself and to the furnace, and then goes back to the low pressure turbine itself. And the steam coming out from the boiler drum goes to the first superheater, then which is being heated by the furnace, and furnace is a heating superheater as well as the heater itself. Then superheater goes to the high pressure turbine itself. So Inlet is from here to outlet from reheater. Another is and the main is from high speed heater. It is supplied to low pressure or intermediate pressure turbine, and from high speed heater another flow is coming, and it goes first to the economizer, to the drum, and first goes into the economizer, then to the drum, where a portion is already converted into vapor, and the portion which is not converted to vapor then comes down to the downcomer, and comes down through the downcomer and goes up through the riser, where is part of it is converted to heat because it is attached. All this riser, economizer, evaporator, reheater, and are attached in the furnace itself. With the furnace heat is transferred to here, and it will go back to the drum where it is vaporized. The vapor itself is coming out from the top, goes to the supervisor, which is heated by the furnace itself, then goes heated to the required temperature, then goes out to the high-speed turbine. So high-speed turbine is from turbine getting power from superheater itself, and low-speed turbine is getting power from the high-speed turbine, from the output of the high-speed turbine itself. In the heat addition process, here it is shown here. It is the entropy, and this is the temperature rise in the TS diagram. Here, what we are having from 1 to 2, heat is being added through, that is entropy is being changed, and temperature is being rise, and temperature is also rise. From 1 to 2 in the evaporator itself, then the temperature remains same as in the evaporator. It is boiling, and so although temperature entropy is changing, and as the heat is absorbed, there is no temperature change takes place because it is under the phase transition. Thus, there is one is parallel to the abscissa and vertical to a ordinate, which is saying that the no temperature rises takes place, but heat is added from entropy at 2 to the heat added at entropy at 3. Now, next, it goes to the superheater itself. From here, superheated, here the same vapor is being heated, and heat is added to a considerable high amount from here 3 to 4, and which is the considerable, which is the heat addition process in the supervisor itself. And from 5 to 6, it goes to the cube radiant heat, so that it gets the final temperature and pressure heat placed in this particular area. Next, let us go to the next process. So here what we are getting, the percentage of heat addition to the evaporator is the same. The amount of heat added in the evaporator divided by the total heat added, that is H2 minus H1, and percent of heat added to the evaporator is same. The amount of heat added in the supervisor divided by economizer, evaporator, superheaters, and distribution is H2 minus H1 divided by H4 minus H1 is equal to 100. Now, if a reheater is used somewhere here, the fraction of the total heat absorbed in the reaction can similarly be estimated. The use of this large number of simulator heater, up to 7 to 8, means small number of economizers and a high pressure inputs. High pressure means a lower pressure surface or risers, and a high pressure means to a lower pressure surface riser, because the latent heat of evaporation decreases rapidly with pressure. Thus, a modern high-speed drum generator requires more superheating and reheating surface, and thus less boiler temperature than the older one. The fraction of total heat absorbed in superheater always be as high as 60% of the modern boiler. So, what we find from the last point, the heat absorbed in supervisor is the almost 60% of the total use. So, what is it here is the Q superheater heat, is the maximum heat along the fourth ring, and it is divided by the two following heat. Now, here one thing is to be cleared with the reheated, if we can use or not use, the fraction of the total heat is absorbed in the reheater can be similarly be estimated. How much temperature being absorbed in the heater itself can be estimated just like this. The there sometimes use a large number of free water heater up to 7 to 8 means a boiler economizer and a high pressure high pressure steam high pressure means a similar pressure boiler surface, and because the normal electricity is a similar normal because the latent heat of vaporization decreases rapidly with rise in pressure. So a modern high-speed steam generator research more superheating and reheating purposes. So here we are employing more importance to reheating as well as superheating instead of immediate vapor generation, because it will serve our purpose of supplying less amount of fuel to the high amount of heater or the economizer itself. Circulator. The flow of water and steam within the boiler circuit is called circulator. The adequate circulation is required to carry away the heat from the surface. Now, the water and steam, it's to be within the boiler is supposed to be circulated so that there should be a uniform flow throughout the system, throughout the round of clock. So adequate supply is required to carry from the heat the heat from the furnace itself. This is along with this evaporator or circulator heat supplying the fuel everywhere and is taking away the heated fuel or vapor to a certain extent and send it to the weather itself. They are also responsible for the environmental conditions. So in the circulation during the time, we have to be ensured that it is not polluting the atmosphere itself. So this circulation is possible only for employing a pump and sufficient capacity which can immediately improve the situation and who can immediately improve the situation and send to the boiler itself. A simple downcomer riser circuit is connected to the boiler and heater. Downcomer, which is insulated, is outside the furnace and riser is inside it. Really, a, a sample downcomer riser circuit is connected to a heat connecting a drum of a calculated drum and a feeder is shown. Here we also again then we are using header and source. Header is the source. Actually, um, how much you can change? Downmaker is installed from outside the furnace and the riser is kept inside it. The riser is improving, getting the mixture of fuel air and oil, and then it goes to the riser where it is more or less converted into the steam itself. Now, really saturated water fall by the gravity from the drum through the downcomer into the flip cycle boiler heads is felt by gravity from the simple dicomer, and natural saturated waterfall is by gravity from the drum through the downcomer is the bottom header. From the drum, it goes to the downcomer by means of its own weight, and that which means that's why we are using only the background header. From the header, weather flows to the nearest surface, rises above the permissible bottles. When fixture and boiling with this temperature of bubble, then the best in the steam down. The density of the steam under mixture of the riser is then that of the standard itself, that of the standard. What is the natural circulation of a power plant itself? From the economizer, we are getting the supply to a drum, power plant drum, and we are getting from here, it is due to downcomer. This is the downcomer for the vapor, mostly the water is coming out, and there is a fan going inside the furnace where the furnace valve is being shown here. It is come down and got heated so that it can fully convert into steam, and then it is thus enriched again the economizer to the drum economizer itself, and from economizer it goes to the superheater itself, where h is the height of the movement of the fluid itself inside the front, and header is here where it is being connected by the A itself. Just a second. Now, water in the downcomer, which gives us the functioning by its name, that water is coming down, and a result of this density difference, a circulation current is set up. Here, always it is not required that you have to dump it, but the water by its liquid position, that is more heavy than the steam itself, which automatically comes down, is the circulation current is set up, comes down itself. The circulation current is then set up with the downcomer riser circuit. The feed water from the downcomer enters the drum, and saturated steam is taken out of the drum by the superheater itself. The pressure rate available for the natural circulation is given by delta P is equal to G into H, PD minus PM. Pressure of the natural circulation given by delta P means the pressure change in pressure is equal to G for acceleration due to gravity. H is the height through which the company will come, water steam mixture, water is compound comes up, and H is the height of the riser furnace. Riser means is the height of the furnace. It is the density of the saturated water in a downcomer. PM is the mean density of the still water mixture in the riser. For example, and PM is the mean density of the steam water mixture in the riser. For simplicity, the mean density PM may be taken out as a arithmetic mean of the density of the bottom or top of the riser itself. So rho mixture is equal to rho bottom plus rho top divided by 2. So what is happening here, again I'm repeating, for natural circulation for delta P into G into delta P into D. Since when density is the height of the riser is the furnace, means that much you have to lift up. PD is the density of the saturation, as we will later. Now, PD is the density of the saturated water in the downcomer, and PM, rho m, is the mean density of the steam. So there are two rho d density of the saturated water in the comer. Rho m is the mean density of the steam water, mean density of the steam water of downcomer, and rho m is the mandatory mean density of the steam water mixture in the riser itself. To simplify to simplify two mean density rho m, that is Ui, and take into consideration and which for the density of the bottom or top. So rho m is equal to rho deformed plus rho water pump, and the P bottom is equal to not called is equal to PD, and P cop is equal to V there by COP. That's V CP is the VWP into the sigma as flow XP into R, the flow XP WP into R multiplied by where XWP is a fraction of the mixture at the top of the riser and is being recorded as the topic Reiner fraction true. So what is the pressure head means how much pressure is generated in the boiler, whether with the accepted limit is given known as pressure head in the boiler, and it is supposed to be shown everywhere in the slide, because nobody can prove the boiler up to a design more than design limit. So if he does to do so, boiler get burst and so many people may die. And actually this happens in pressure afterwards. Uh, uh, hmm. Higher is the density difference, more will be the pressure head available on the natural circulation. Higher is the density difference, more will be the pressure head available for the natural circulation. However, the density difference decreases as pressure increases, and the difference in specific volume and the difference in density is of saturated liquid circulated vapor will decrease with increase in pressure. At the critical pressure, Vg is equal to Vf and rho g is equal to Of, and there can be no natural circulation itself. Risers are installed all around the floor walls of the furnace, acts as cooling or a water wall, and carry away the heat from the furnace at the same temperature as which the heater is being used. Now, what is uh, the pressure? Well, their pressure is not available by the natural calculation. This is given by delta P equal G into H is equal to rho into D minus rho into M, where H is the height of the riser and rho D is the density of the saturated water in the downcomer itself, and rho M is the main density of the steam. So what you are getting, height of the riser, height of the water, rho D is the saturated vapor, saturated water, and down the mixture, and rho is the natural density of the steel after mixture, as to be authenticated from as the arithmetic means of density is the bottom or top of the riser. So P bottom, rho at the bottom plus top, rho at the top divided by 2 is the mean density for the mixture. Now rho bottom now rho bottom PD and rho to COP is 1 by V omega P, and V omega P is equal to UT plus X WXP into UPJ. So the vapor is being controlled by this fraction of the vapor and fluid itself. When XWP, I refer to the mixture at the pressure Right here. The manufacturing height or furnace. Speed is fixed by the ratio. The manufacturing height of the furnace is being fixed by ratio of differing the boiler and the heat resistance plant. For a certain age, delta P is proportional to rho D minus rho D. Highest is the density difference, more will be the pressure head available for the natural circulation. However, the density differential decreases as pressure increases, and it increases the difference in specific. The differences in specific volume or the difference in density of the saturated liquid concentrated stream decrease with inherent temperature itself. At the critical pressure, Ig plus Vf and rho y minus equal to rho f, rho, and the decrease in specific volume as the decrease in density, rho f minus density of saturated liquid or saturated vapor in decrease with increase in pressure. Now, this difference in density is reducing, and the pressure goes up, the difference in density goes down. At the critical temperature, Vg is equal to Vf and Pg is equal to Pf, and there can be no natural circulation itself. Critical means the volume of the gas and volume of the fluid is same, volume of the gas, volume of the fluid is same. And now hmm, the decrease in specific, at the critical pressure, Vf, Vg is equal to Vf and Pi is Tf. So there can be, and there can be as natural as risers and installed in all around the four walls of the instrument. That is askew act as a cooling or water wall and carry energy and carrying energy at the critical pressure. Known as the critical pressure where Vg is equal to Vf, P rho G is rho F, which here gas and there is only gas, there is no gas, no other thing anything exists. Then there exists the difference uh, at the yes, and there can be no choice to circulate. Risers are installed all around the four walls and act as a cooling of the cooling water and carry out the this uh, heat from the furnace at this time, and say conditions at which heat is released in it. Okay. Risers are thus installed all around the four walls itself, and the all around the four wall itself, and the saturated vapor decreases and increasing temperature. All around the four wall of the furnace acts as a cooling or water wall and carry away the heat from the furnace at the same rate at which the heat is being released in it by the burning of fuel. For these reasons, adequate circulation must be given in the circuit itself. The circulation is not adequate, the rate at which heat is carried away will be less than the rate of heat release itself. So that you have to burn more fuels, but you are not getting the proper use of this food of them. And the difference will be stored in the metal of the salt reservoirs, where leading to the void and ultimately rupturing when the tube temperature exceeds the melting point of the furnace. So if the heat doesn't carry away by the water itself, and this heat will be there and it will accumulated on the walls of the tubes and other parts of the furnace, and ultimately it will the rupture when the temperature exceeds the melting point of the metal itself. If the boiler pressure is greater than 300 bars, then downcomers are placed inside the furnace so that just 1 second please. What is shown here, this is the drum. This is the boiler drum, and it is for supplying the superheater and being received the from the bottom, the down through the downcomer, heat is goes back to the header and then goes to the inside the furnace where the riser is being it's converted this liquid water into steam and goes back to the economizer itself. It is the forced circulation system. Another is just 1 second. Hello. Good afternoon. What's the matter? Yeah. Okay. And if the boiler pressure is greater than 30, if the boiler pressure becomes greater than 30 bars, the downcomers are placed outside the furnace so that so as to secure more density difference for the natural circulation. If both the downcomers and risers are placed inside the furnace and heated, and the density difference will be less. However, the pressure less than both the furnaces are inside and with the risers installed in the boiler in the hotter zone. The tubes which one heated near will act as a mesh risers, and the tubes which are heated lossless will act as a downcomer itself. Okay. Today I'm closing the class here. Thanks. Nobody had arrived. Okay. Thanks.